I thought I was going to stop talking about Black Myth Wukong. However, what I'm seeing in the media is quite strange. It appears to me that the way the reporting is going, they're pointing fingers at the Series S as the culprit of what's going on. This is actually very strange when you kind of think about it because, again, this has always been a skill issue. Everybody knew this. I looked, just randomly got suggested a video from a PlayStation centric YouTuber who is now concluding that insiders were lying about the deal that they claim PlayStation made. Now, this is conjecture because there's no official statement. However, this is the same YouTuber that Baldur's Gate 3 developer, aka at Cormwelp, very AFK, pretty much disputed their comments to let them know that Baldur's Gate 3 was not a PlayStation exclusive as they had claimed. So I would wonder and say, well, this same person, can they not get a hint that somewhere, somehow, right? Think about it. That game science not having made an open denial of any exclusivity deal leaves room open for that. You never know, because another developer outrightly came out and said, our game is not an exclusive. Simple. Game science can instantly do that. I want to go ahead and show you guys this stuff because this is so weird, folks. I mean, like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Jez Corden is also reporting something similar. Insider Gaming reported something similar, and I'm thinking to myself, I thought Jez Corden was more of an Xbox person. I mean, that's what I thought. So he says, Black Myth Wukong developers say optimizing for the Xbox Series S would take years, begging the question if the blockbuster action game will ever come to Xbox. Again, ladies and gentlemen, before we even start going into this, let me throw, what I almost always say in situations like this. For every Wukong, there's a Wu Chang. So if Wukong never shows up on Xbox, there are developers who are going to be happy about it. I'm not going to lie to you. If I was in development team for Wu Chang, I'd be rooting for Wukong not to show up on Xbox close to when we're trying to launch the game. We'd love to launch the game as our own hack and slash hero game set in that particular environment so that nobody can come in and cause any kind of ruckus with sales from our audience or potential audience. That's just me talking from the dev mind and from the business mindset. So anybody who doesn't, whatever you want to do with that, do whatever you will. Microsoft previously said it doesn't comment on exclusivity deals taken by partners. It's true. Right? And says, we're kicking off 2025 with some fresh Xbox controversy. No, y'all are making it a controversy. It's nothing that's a controversy. The developers say it's a skill issue, but, Xbox has to be the thing that is on the SEO. So let's go. Like, I don't know what, we're all doing here. One of the last year's biggest hits and most awarded action games, Black Myth Wukong, is still exclusively not on Xbox, and increasingly it seems to be for incidental reasons rather than platform exclusivity. But Jez, you were one of the people that actually did report that there was a deal behind. Wukong is the debut game from Game Science, whose breakout hit went on to sell millions of copies and immediately solidified the studio as a top flight player in the genre. The game is persistently available on Windows PCs, PlayStation 5, and was originally announced for the Xbox Series X and S until it was revealed the Xbox version is essentially on indefinite hiatus. Previously, Microsoft suggested to us that Black Myth Wukong was skipping Xbox due to some form of timed exclusivity deal in PlayStation, offering the following comments unprompted to Windows Central, as well as major outlets like Forbes and IGN. I also conferred with my own sources, who confirmed that Microsoft is all up internally operating under the idea that Black Myth Wukong took some form of timed exclusivity deal with PlayStation for engineering support or something along those lines. So this exclusivity deal is not off the table. Why? The developers have not said anything else. So people are saying, and Jez is confirming from his sources, that PlayStation sent an army of engineers in there to help them with their game in terms of the console port. Okay. The game has also received no special marketing treatment from PlayStation to that end, and neither side has confirmed or debunked whether some form of exclusivity deal was in place. This is what leaves room for speculation. This is it. I'm just saying. Right now, they've given me freedom to speculate with whatever the heck I want. And speculate I shall. We've reached out to Game Science and Microsoft to comment. It would seem that if there was at some point a period of timed exclusivity, the Xbox Series X parity clause is preventing the game from arriving on Microsoft's platform. Microsoft requires developers to launch games on both Xbox Series X and Series S in order to ship. Well, just like PS5 and PS5 Pro. I mean, PS4, PS4 Pro, this is not news. The fact that Xbox Series S has RAM disparity with the PS5 and Series X has been blamed by various developers over the years for delays on Microsoft's platform, of which they eventually then went ahead and launched their games. Baldur's Gate 3 was delayed on Xbox Series S until Microsoft allowed Larian to ship without couch co-op for the Series S version of the game. Watch and see. They're going to be like, hey, guess what, Xbox? We now have Series S working couch co-op for you guys. And then they're going to use it to market their game. Just watch. Games that have been developed with the Xbox Series S limitations in mind don't always hit the same snag. Stalker 2's GSC developer recently discussed how the Series S helped them optimize the game for more systems. However, it's also true GSC is a well-established developer, has a large amount of backing from Microsoft. Game Science put out a AAA game, but is still a new developer. You would think or even hope that Microsoft will be able or willing to offer team engineering support to bring one of last year's biggest hits to the platform. It's ultimately Xbox customers who lose out when situations like this arise. If I had to guess, and in my humble opinion, the lack of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox is likely the result of Microsoft gaming spreading itself too thin. Between its effort to take on Steam, PC, and the great Activision Blizzard systems with Xbox, develop Xbox Cloud across multiple fronts, the investment strategy for Xbox Series X and X console seems well and truly on the back foot right now. How? Let's keep in mind, again, I gotta say, I'm surprised that this is is this Jez that wrote this? Jez wrote this? He wrote this. Really? Developers get specs of development kits well advanced into their development of their game. In fact, some get development kits while the consoles are still, pretty much being manufactured. They even give them PC specs most times so that they have kind of a benchmark for what the game's going to run like on hardware. What? Spreading themselves too thin? What the heck is... Okay, oh my gosh. I'm quite surprised. Although it's also true that Microsoft has mountains of first-party Unreal Engine-based games that likely need optimization support of their own, perhaps the solution will be to allow smaller developers to ship on Xbox Series X, with the Series S version being delivered via cloud servers. I'm not sure whether Microsoft is ready to cross that Rubicon yet, because it's a silly notion. It's a silly notion. Series S players paid for what they found and knew was a new generation console. Games should launch on parity. Developers have been developing for multiple SKUs for many years. As a PC gamer, I remember playing The Division 1. This is it right here on the screen. On an RX 480 GPU and a, Intel Core i5-6500. Which is not even close today to a lot of the stuff that is out there. Now, this game was delivered via the servers, right? In, many cases. But goodness gracious, how did Ubisoft Massive squeeze this title? Even the offline piece of it. When I say offline piece, there are certain parts of the game that runs on your local machine. And then other parts are run via the servers, because then there was not enough computing power. That's basically their main reason they did that. Frederick Thailander is actually quoted as saying that on Twitter. Go look for him. He is one of the game designers for Ubisoft Massive. He's changed roles over the years because he's been moving up. But yes, he's cited as saying that he's made games from EA and such coming back from. Devs used to make this game ran on PS4. Now it was 30 FPS, but this game I played this game. I started playing it on PS4. What is going on in the games industry today, and why is the press acting like developers should not be held to a point where they know their job and they know the science of delivering their games on hardware. And he says, in another era, I would suspect Xbox would have been all over getting Black Myth Wukong onto Xbox consoles if the issue was something as simple as optimization. But as we head into 2025, the investment in third-party engineering support for consoles seems to be generally lower priority, as it should be, because for many years, Xbox has been heavily and severely critiqued for not banging its studios into shape. Did we not see Redfall? Why would they want to go out there without any need to start investing in a third-party game for a developer that already has a big... They've sold 20 million copies of their game. I said this in my last video. They got to go hire a team of technical artists and technical designers and technical programmers that can get this game into the Xbox Series S, if that is the problem. We don't give in the money. I bought the game on PC. Many of us did. So what is the hiccup here? This is all smokes and mirrors, ladies and gentlemen. If you have a skeptic and a critical mind, you will need what I think is a definitive statement that puts all this to rest. Can you guys just tell us that there was no exclusivity deal and all you're doing is solely working on getting this game, which many other games that are as demanding or look as demanding have shipped on the Series S, is giving you guys trouble, and you're working on it by hiring the right people to do the job? Because if you're not saying that, then all this is just wash, and they're just, a lot of articles being written left and right so that, maybe the game will push more people to go buy consoles or whatever the heck it is. This is insane. This is highly insane. There was a time where we could say, okay, the developers are probably, we could give concession in that regard. That's crazy. I'm surprised that Stalker 2, now it launched with a bunch of bugs. We gave concession. Okay, the developers have been developing this game in the most unconducive, environment. No problem. But then coming down to this, all this talk is, the Series S. Xbox should be ashamed because they made a console that was affordable. Some people are crazy, man. Some people are crazy. Because gaming is not a necessity. I hope we can all agree with that. You don't have to game to live in this world. So for people to be expecting you to go buy a $500 console is just absolutely nuts if you don't want to. And if you have the option for the $200 console, we should be talking about $200 consoles because they're subsidized anyways. All this fad and, facade about hardware and all that on the console side is a fugazi because they're all optimizing their games for old hardware. 1650. Go look at their Steam requirements. PlayStation and Xbox be asking you for a freaking GTX 950 for some of their games. Yet they want to sell you a $700 console so that you can see Spider-Man's, reflections much better. The industry is so polluted with these overblown, bloated titles that for the most part, you almost don't understand what fun is in a video game. This is why I sit there running around Elden Ring 200 times and punching on the same guys in Mortal Kombat every single day. Because at the end of the day, these games are just so bloated, and you're just like, where do I even start from? 70 hours? What am I doing here? And the media is over here fanning the flames of this without us even paying attention to say why. Why should Xbox step out of their way to go provide engineering support to a development team that is clearly one with investment? The development team understands their pipeline. They were on Unreal Engine 4 when they started developing this game. Now they moved the game to Unreal Engine 5.0, and so probably built the game advanced into Unreal Engine 5.0, a very huge risk. I mean, think about it. Unreal Engine 5.0 was first, unveiled in like 2019, 2020. So they basically moved straight into a brand new engine and decided that they were going to ship with it. There are many, many things that you can point to the developers' inexperience. I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying that for anybody to be pointing to Series S when we've seen these games launch now is egg on their faces. And I said it. As a PC, I said it. My 4090 for them, it doesn't. I don't even game with it unless I want to make a video just to say, okay, here's how this game plays on a 4090, and I will tell you that the Series S is a capable machine for running most games. Its performance doesn't have to be on par with the Series X. It's just like PC gaming. You don't expect the guy with the 1650 to come out here and be talking about, getting the performance with the guy with the 2060 or the 3060. Because they paid disproportionately or proportionately or whatever you want to call it, significantly different costs for their hardware. I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't be on board with all this, craziness going on here because it's just so weird and it's just so wild. Will Wukong ever come to PlayStation? Ever come to Xbox? Who cares? I mean, it could not sell. I mean, again, that's one thing about businesses. You leave and create room, and that's the beauty of it. These guys, I'm telling you, the Wu-Chang Fallen Dev developers. Oh my gosh, they're. I'm sure they're giddy. Like, ooh, they're serious. What is special? Especially in today's gaming scene. About video games across the board. Everything is borrowing on everybody else's idea. Everybody had the same idea at the same time. Everyone's launching basically the exact same game at the same time these days. So I wouldn't bother with that, man. I just think this is all a distraction. Something else is going on here. Until we get statements definitively stating that our suspicions are unfounded, then this whole Wukong thing is just weird. It's just weird to me. Peace out.